In 1928, a Greek-American researcher named George Papanicolaou, using funding from the American Cancer Society, shows that you can take a few cells from the opening of the cervix, swab them, and determine under a microscope whether cancer has already occurred or is about to occur. If caught early enough, the cancer can be prevented, but the Papanicolaou test is not put to use.
There were fights going on between pathologists and surgeons about whether it was ever proper for a test to be done in a doctor's office and then sent outside for someone else to read.
Though originally funded by the ACS, the Society changes course and aligns itself with physicians and surgeons who argue that the test is a threat to the practice of medicine. For 29 years, the low-cost test is kept under wraps while women are treated with high-dose radiation or have their cervixes surgically removed.
Prior to the pap smear being used, women were dying at very high rates of cervix cancer. Once the pap smear was finally put into place, not until the 1960s, deaths and cases of cervix cancer fell like a rocket, unbelievably.
Today, the pap smear is performed by physicians and technicians alike. It has reduced the incidence of cervix cancer by 40%, and ironically, the ACS touts its introduction as proof of its pivotal role in the treatment of cancer.
If you look at the history of cancer therapeutics, it's like Gettysburg. It's just scattered with bodies of all the people who have tried to bring effective new treatments to the market and have been shot down.
Throughout the century, promising cures and therapies are met harshly by the AMA, the FDA, and the ACS. Scientists, including the likes of Nobel laureates Linus Pauling and Otto Warburg, are considered traitorous and their work labeled as quackery. In the 1950s, Benedict Fitzgerald, special counsel for the Interstate Commerce Committee, is enlisted to investigate allegations of conspiracy on the part of the medical establishment. In 1953, Fitzgerald's report is submitted to the United States Senate, stating, "My investigation to date should convince this committee that a conspiracy does exist. Public and private funds have been thrown around like confetti at a county fair to close up and destroy clinics, hospitals, and scientific research labs which do not conform to the viewpoint of medical associations." The report is buried, Fitzgerald reassigned, and today the battle to suppress innovation rages on.
Canadian research team has come up with DCA. They believe it's a cheap and simple drug that kills almost all cancers. You heard that right. The real story is you can't have it. Not because it's unsafe, but because your blood's going to shoot out of your eyes because it doesn't make any money.
DCA isn't owned by any pharmaceutical company. There's no patent on it. So on one hand, it could become a very inexpensive new treatment for cancer. On the other, drug companies won't be interested in funding studies for a drug that won't make them a profit.
And in the U.S., the FDA has shut down all sites